So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman, and I partner with Dinah Hunter and Gary Knapp, who's overseas at the moment. And we love connecting with you every Saturday morning with speakers and training and inspiration, and today is no exception. So just before we get started with our panel, where we're going to be sharing with everybody that possibly couldn't make it to the conference this weekend, what our highlights were this past weekend, actually 1 week ago. I just have a couple announcements from corporate. So next week we have Chris Simons on the call. He did a great presentation for everybody at the conference, and I thought it would be great for everybody to have the opportunity to have that experience. So he's coming on next week to do that training, but he's also going to be able to launch some early information on a promotion called 90 Days to Silver Associate. And he's going to be doing some training on that and how to maximize your outcome with that. So make sure you get you and your team that would like to, a silver associate just gives some people some extra for product, or some people it's the first step in building a business income. So if you've got people, this is the way to learn how to capitalize on that upcoming promotion. And then on the 25th, we have Roxanne. Now she's this dynamic, just this firecracker of a woman who trained us at the conference via video on the Penny app. If you haven't familiarized yourself with the Penny app, it's outstanding. And I was just about to say before we hit the record that I've been involved in every online app for managing and organizing yourself for your business, to manage customers and business partners. And Penny is what we've always wanted for the last 20 years. I've suffered through 5 not quite there ones, and Penny is a dream come true. You may not know that once upon a time, most of us have had a few lives. And one of my lives, I was a database developer I worked with an IT guy, and I was the front end. And I used to tell him as a user and what a user needed for database development. And we developed databases, exactly what Penny is for you. And it's the best I've ever seen. It's like sort of, dream come true in database for marketing. So the advice, highly make a difference for you, or the high-end users can use the 100%. So you don't have to know everything, and you can get started quite easily. So there is a video on that. I'll try and find it out and put in the notes on Facebook, in the Australasian Connect Facebook page. So without further ado, I would like to also announce a third announcement that I've organized is the award winners for the weekend. So we'll, over the next coming months, be able to have them on and talk to them and, learn what they did to achieve those kind of awards. But the Business Builder of the Year was James Hannon. Mike Force Giving Spirit Award was Naomi Joy. The Top Enroller Associate with us today is Poppy Curry. Top Enroller Customer is Naomi Joy. Top Silver Executive Director was Vincent Casumo, and he's booked in April to join us. And the top executive director was Cecilia Zilvia, which I think she's in Vincent's team. And I think she won one of the travel incentives. So everybody's very excited and supportive of all those people. And congratulations, Poppy. So for today, we're going to go around and give everybody an opportunity to say, just to start with their first 2 highlights of the weekend. And I wonder if we should just go alphabetical. Diana, do you want to go first with your first 2 highlights from the weekend?
Oh, well, I have lots of highlights. I guess I wasn't going to focus on Adam Fraser. I thought others might have a bit to say about him, but and I don't even, is he a social psychologist? I'm not sure what his title is, but
he's got a PhD in biomedicine.
Right. Oh, he spoke about, he's spoken several times at our conventions or at our trainings, and he's always outstanding, and this time it was no different. And he spoke about a few things, but one of them was about the importance of micro recovery, taking time out on a regular basis, whether it be daily, weekly, or monthly, to recover so that you can be in top performance and maintain your energy over the long term. And he pointed out, and it was so true for me, having a 3-week holiday once a year lasts you about a month in terms of the sense of recovery. And I really noticed that myself after a 3-week holiday at Christmas. So anyway, he's recommended a daily 10-minute quiet time with a single focus, and a weekly activity that uplifts you and gives you energy, but also a monthly activity. And this was my biggest challenge. So I'm setting the challenge for myself. Is to have a day where there's no agenda and no have-tos. My eyes pop open at that idea.
Dana doesn't know how to do that.
I'm going to learn.
Here.
But I'll let others share further about him. And then, I mean, always for me, it's connecting in person. We haven't done it for 3 years, right? So just there's nothing like it, just being in person with our community, being able to hug each other. And, you know, the conference itself is outstanding. The content was beautifully designed, again, by the corporate team. But so much happens outside of the room, doesn't it? When you're meeting with people and having conversations with your fellow associates who you don't get to see and have those casual conversations with, you get to find out what people are doing and what's important to them and how they're working their business. I find that equally valuable to what happens within the room. And then the other thing I'll say, I mean, I've got plenty of notes here. I'm not sure how long I have, but just the general theme of Go for Growth and how that was put together with James, featuring a 2x2 plan and grounding back in the basic steps that we need to take to build a business. And now the focus on building a silver associate, which, you know, for the majority, I think will feel achievable. And even one of the members of my team who hasn't really had a solid business goal was able to set that business goal. It was, you know, a step, an achievable vision for her, which is exciting. And then we're in the pipeline, which haven't been announced yet, is rewards or incentives for building a silver associate. So we haven't got the travel incentive yet, the vision of exactly. We've had lots of teasers, but no exact launch of the travel incentive, because the company, or we as a group, are going to be focusing on building, you know, getting back to grassroots and building silver associates. And then, of course, as Sharon said, launching we'll kind of relaunch, I don't know, a lot of people are doing Penny. I, to be honest, haven't been utilising Penny, but we're able to sit in with, what was her name again? The woman, Roxanne. And, you know, get a deeper, renewed vision of what's possible with Penny, and using that as our business assistants to underpin the growth that we're focusing on, and, you know, that grassroots building silver associates or supporting others to build silver associates. So I'll stop there.
Awesome, Diamond. Thank you. And next is Patsy in the alphabetical lineup. Two highlights.
Two highlights. Well, my first highlight, really, well, it was good to be there and to be able to hug and share and laugh with so many. It was just like I'm home again. And it was really exciting. And part of my inspiration, or my aha moment, really was about leadership. And observing James and Naomi achieve so much. Now, we've all gone through this last some years with challenges. And those two persisted. What leadership! And perhaps that was a leadership that is needed for me to step up and be more consistent and also inspire, because those two were amazing. And, you know, the rewards and the awards they received was so deserving. And, you know, the promise, particularly for all of us, that if we follow and lead as leaders, we're going to have amazing results. My second moment was with Penny. Penny and I haven't been really friends. I've looked at Penny and I've sort of said, okay, I'll get around to you, Penny. But listening to Penny on Saturday was so inspiring. I'm raring to go. You know, for all of us who have been here for a while, sometimes methods get to a point you've had enough of the methods, don't you think? You've forgotten the methods. Your time out on the methods. And Penny looks so simple and something that you can do from home. And I'm really thrilled. I've already popped 10 into Penny, despite not knowing everything about Penny. So, you know, it's worth a start. And that was one of my highlight moments. And the other one was a real side one. And that was Jenny talking slightly about notes and calling it old-fashioned. Now, I know that receiving a nice note in the mail is a very exciting thing. You know, you're tired of the window jobs. You're tired of that plain envelope that just reminds you that you haven't done something. And to receive a note that says, nice to know you, thankful. I tell you what, that's not old-fashioned. That is touching the soul and the spirit. So I'm back into notes again. Thank you, Jenny. And those were my highlights.
Awesome, Patsy. I can chuckle along with you in a few of those. And Poppy.
Hello, everybody. I had a lot of highlights, so it's going to be very hard to narrow it to two. But firstly, congratulations to all the award winners. It was an amazing achievement and an amazing night. Look, as everyone has pointed out and said, the biggest thing for me was just being in the room and just being able to see everybody again and just touch and hug everybody again. And it just does something to your spirit and your soul, and it motivates you when you're in the same group with like-minded people, and it puts that fire back in your belly and you're not feeling like you're isolated anymore. So I loved being back at conference together and all the little nuggets. There was just so much gold that was distributed throughout the whole course, and that's why it is so important that we strive to get to these every year. But two of the biggest, I would say, was James's presentation on how easy it is to rebuild your business again 2 by 2. To start with 2 by 2, and just keeping it simple, not overcomplicating the business side of things. And I think that's where sometimes we go wrong. We tend to, you know, verbal diarrhea, so to speak, when we talk to somebody about it, and we scare them off with, you know, rather than making it simple, 2 by 2, explaining the business and the comp plan properly, and just getting yourself going again. So that was a big moment for me. Like, I really enjoyed that, and I'm really looking, like, I've already started getting my team together to do that. And the Penny app. I love the Penny app. As Patsy said, wasn't a big fan or friend of it. It just felt, to me, it looked overwhelming and like too complicated to use. But when Roxanne explained everything in simple layman's terms, she is going to be like our best friend and make life a lot easier for us with running our business professionally and properly in the way it has to do. But like, as I said, there was just so many highlights, guys, and I really encourage everyone, get to conference if you can, make it a priority. I've already started saving from now for next year. So, you know, because you get so much out of it. And I got pages and pages of writing notes that I've gone over this week, and just to let it all sink in again. So, yeah, that were two of my highlights.
Awesome, Poppy. Thank you. And Sue?
Oh, I'm glad S comes before B. Because by the time you get to S, I think everyone said everything. Anyway, I can say it again. For me, like, being a total social person, being there in the flesh was amazing. And I think it was for all of us. You know, after 3 years of this, it was just amazing to see people. And some of the people I'd never really connected with personally, but I've been seeing them online. So that was just great. My first one was identical to Poppy's one with James. I love James as a teacher. I always have. Like, he brings it back to simplicity, and just coming back to the basics of the 2 by 2. And someone said to me Sunday morning after the conference was over, that they felt like this was the first conference, and they've been to a lot, that they've gone away with knowing exactly what to do next.
Mm.
You know, I think that's brilliant. And yeah, that reignited my excitement. The last one, look, Adam Fraser, yeah, there was Diana mentioned the things that really I love too. But there's one thing he said that really resonated with me, and that was he was talking about doing different training with different organizations, and sales had gone backwards, etc. And they were all going, oh, it was COVID. It was COVID. And I, oh, that really hit me. Is there a part of me that's still going, it was COVID? And it was funny because when we talked, you know, the first time they paired us off and share it with someone and sharing what you need to do differently. And the person that I shared with, she said, my business has gone backwards through COVID because I'm a face-to-face person, blah, blah, blah. And I went, gee, it really has impacted so many of us, even just in a little subtle way. So I think him saying that was almost like, okay, let's move on. Let's get over that. Yeah, they were my highlights. I had many. I just loved it.
Yeah, we'll have the opportunity to, you know, do some other details as we go on. But that I agree with you, Sue. That I think that was awesome about the weekend. I think you can see everybody here nodding their heads with you. And we'll go to Vincent and then Oscar. So Vincent, your highlights.
Hi everyone. My highlight, I think I'm echoing everyone in the sentiment of finally having face-to-face. We had 3 years of online conference. It works well, don't get me wrong, but there's just something different with face-to-face. You can feel, touch, hug everyone, and this is a place where community was a big thing in Manatech, and this is where we find friends for life. And you can do that through face-to-face conference. So like what Poppy said, definitely go to conference. There's a lot more up than down in conference. You learn way more over there. I have two highlights. One is Adam Fraser. We're actually in our team, we're thinking on how to actually have to recover, and Bella told me we felt a bit burnout, to be perfectly honest, because time differences with Indonesia, some of Bella's clients are in Korea, it's massive time difference too. So definitely sleep schedule sometimes goes out the window, but now finding out this, the challenge for us is now finding a weekly thing that we want to do. Monthly, we agree, you'll go by yourself, I'll go by myself, no problem. But a weekly thing is one thing that we need to find out, and we're still trying, but that's a massive thing from Dr. Adam Fraser. He's always bringing, you know, great ideas for us. The second highlight is Luminovation. Actually, I'm very excited to see how it comes out. Like finally, Australia can release a new product in the product line. Plus the candles as well, obviously. But seeing how you can see the changes, the improvement straight away from when Poppy shared her experience, and then you know there's a few people in the test group as well, but and you can see straight away what's difference again, what's the difference in their skin. So I'm really excited to see how this go. And I think from what Jenny shared in the conference, there'll be more expo and events coming up soon as well. So that's one thing that, you know, will again push us to face-to-face conference and or face-to-face events, and we can see each other again. That's my highlights.
Awesome, Vincent. And for people that Luminovation is a skincare range that's going to be launching mid-year. So, and there's been a small pilot group that have been testing and to be our testimonial frontliners. And yeah, we were able to see their skin and the changes it made. So, and I'm not really a 5-step skincare person. I'm pretty simple in my skincare, and I've been happy with the youth line. But I was talking to a friend who has a lot of experience in that area, and the well, I won't go into depth because I'm not an expert in it, but some of the ingredients in this new line are like everybody's there. Some people are bringing them in from overseas to get this ingredient, and as usual, Manatech will have the best of the best. So that's just, we'll let people launch it properly and corporate launch it, but we're given sort of a teaser again on the new skincare line coming. So Rhonda's here too. She's been doing some wild thing as usual out in the world, and we'll go to Oscar next, then Rhonda. Oscar?
Hi, everyone. It's multiple impact on me and Sandy as we went to the conference. It's lovely to get together with people, as everyone says, but to hug and know that you're part of this family that has been separated for a while, and it's so good, and to revive new connections and feel a new vibration that's starting. It's just that we're taking off and moving with such impact that we like to share with people, and you get elevated and drive forward. I'll just pick only two. I got a number of experiences and impacts there. One of which was the branding, as to expand your mind as to what kind of messages that you can put out for people out there, and what does it say, and how can you impart from your heart the meaning of what this company is all about, and the products, as to how it will elevate people and bring happiness into their lives, and at the same time give an opportunity for them to create an income flow. You're not looking at getting a Ferrari, but you're looking at getting a nice car that will take your family here, there, and everywhere, and still manage to pay for that and run it. And along with that came the goal setting booklet, a wonderful tool that you can sit with your team and work with that. But prior to looking at, we're doing it with the team, yes, and so you got it there, but to do it for yourself. And so from here on as to what you're going to put into place for 2023 onwards, setting a scene of momentum and getting there. That's one. And then Penny, before we went to the conference, I said to Sandy, and Sandy said, look, we need to get into this new tool that we have. And I said to her, I need to spend some more time with Penny. And she looked at me quizzically. What in the world are you talking about? So yeah, and that was great. We hadn't been there to work on it, but it's now opening up a great door. I was looking at something that can address a lot of things that you may struggle to do, but here it's already there for you to get in there and work with it. The brand, hang on, let me get heading. The skincare is something that I said to myself, men need to be in part of that, and then change. And I saw Vincent there, and I said, you guys look really good and so on. And I said, that skincare. He said, yes, I got it on me. And I thought, wow, I need to get in there. Yeah, it was really good. It was really lovely to connect with Vincent and Bella too, particularly when we went down to do the branding and photo shoot and so forth. Overall, the conference has just got back to something that we needed, and we lost it for, and it was sort of stagnant. Great with the virtuals, but there's something about having to be part of a family, and that was awesome. And Adam Fraser is having to hit really home with some of the things that we need to do today, because it's affecting a lot of people as in the rat race, and they're stressed out, and there's a lot of anxiety and as to what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and really stop and listen to yourself and be in the quietness and silence and get everything come back to normal, where you can start to launch out on that. And I won't go any more on that, because a lot of people will want to have more, but for us, we really realize that there's a big component that is missing in putting together a family of givers, and a family that then can put your heart out and reach out and touch somebody else's heart. The biggest thing is also to know that when you do that, you also reach out and embrace a child and more. But power of that is really important for us. And we know that as we come back on track to fight the good fight, if you like, you're now reaching out not only people or grown-ups and so on, but you're looking at a child and children out there. So yeah, now the excitement was huge for us as we move forward. I'll let the others tackle that. So thank you for the opportunity to share that.
Awesome. And we'll go around one more time before we complete to say anything that you'd like to finish with or what's in your heart. But over to Rhonda.
Well, good morning, and I'm glad I made it. We were rehearsing for a flash mob this morning with some of my dancers, and it was a bit of fun. But it's a good job it's not live because I smell.
We're glad
For
about that
me-
too, Rhoda.
For me, as always, getting together with the family is the high point. We could just sit and talk and share stories for the whole time, and I would be satisfied. And when you get back together, you realize just how much we've missed in these years where we've been relegated to Zoom. And Zoom's been wonderful because we would be totally lost without it. So that was my first thing, being together with the family, being able to hug the people and feel the energy and the excitement. And I know that it's important that we have seminars again of 1,500 people, but it was really lovely that it was intimate. You didn't have to queue for this, you didn't have to rush for that. But that's not what it's about. That's just my own little personal. I was blown away by Poppy's complexion. And I actually said to her beforehand, I said, you are looking fantastic. And that's before I knew what the secret was. And to answer you, Oscar, about the men, absolutely, the men need the skincare too, because the only person who thinks the Marlborough man is a good look is another bloke. Women like a bit of softness, and they like to feel softness too. But I have to say, it's really hard to pick what's the best. The whole thing was fantastic, and congratulations to Manatech for putting on such a fabulous conference. It would have been nice to have Steve in person, but he's always good anyway. And I've got to commend our special guest speaker, Adam Fraser. We have seen Adam before. He's sharp to the point. He's a little ball of energy that gets right to the point. And one of the things that he was talking about is that when you're goal setting, the struggle is part of it. And we will have found through our business that we've done things for people and given people things and they do nothing with it. There's no appreciation of the value. So it's the struggle of getting where you're going that gives you the pleasure. And often you get to the goal and you think, oh, well, is this all it is? You get the flash car and in 6 months, it's just another car. But it's what you've achieved and the person you have become achieving what you want is what the real prize is. And one of the things that fortunately in the last while I've been able to do, and God, it makes a difference to your life, and that is the sweetness of doing nothing. And it doesn't matter how busy you are, you must take the time to refresh. Not 3 weeks at the end of the year. You'll spend all your 3 weeks being sick because your body's at breaking point. Daily, something to calm, mind your nutrition, even 5 minutes of meditation, just 5 minutes sitting, looking at the trees moving. Just get that. And a number of times a day, you know, you really should change something every hour because your brain can only handle, your thinking brain can only handle 90 minutes. After that, it goes into overload. So if you just get up and get a glass of water, change your activity, stop and talk to somebody, you're refreshing your filing system and it's working. Weekly, put back in something that energizes, a hobby, an interest, connecting, being in nature. Just go sit and look for a little while. Just clear that mind and let things flow. And monthly, you need to have a day of no responsibility. And he was saying that one of his clients said, oh, this is going to be really hard. And he went home and said to his wife, I know you're going to hate this, but I need to have a day off. Great. I'll feed the kids. I'll take them out for the day. You got the house to yourself. You do what you want. And it is what you want to do. If you want to do crosswords, if you want to watch videos, no responsibility, no washing, no computer, none of the jobs, just like a mini holiday, 1 day a month. It's not that month. And your survival, your mental, physical, and emotional survival depends on it. We've all seen burnout and it's not pretty. And as with taking the Manatech products, you know, you've had the disease 6 months, 6 years, 10 years, it's not going to take you 5 minutes to fix it. So if you get to breakdown point, it's a long road back. So daily, weekly, monthly. If you don't look after yourself, nobody else will. And if you don't look after yourself, you're no use to anybody else either. You just become a liability for other people to look after. I think I might have exceeded my 5 minutes, Sharon.
That's okay.
You really need to get,
This is our Australasian. Go ahead.
you really need to get to every event in person that you possibly can.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be made even easier this year. I've got this sort of feeling. Rhonda's our Australasian firecracker. Does anybody agree?
Yeah.
I
Well,
just want to add something
powerfully and beautifully said, actually.
Yeah. I want to add something about Adam Fraser. So you can see that this is a common thread of how powerful he was on everybody. Yeah, I think it's the third time he spoke for Mantech, and I won't get this part exactly right because my brain tends to switch numbers, but the basis of this, everything is based on research. So he's a mega brain, and he moves really fast. I just love his brain. And the research that this is based on was they're studying elite athletes at the AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra. And what they discovered that was they push elite athletes, and then they crash just before they go to the Olympics. And so they started researching that, and they looked at the inflammation or the energy in the brain, something I'm not going to get this exactly right either. And what they discovered is that they'd had scans of showing, I think it was all red when these people were stressed and had gone beyond too far. And these steps that everybody has described today, so the 5 to 10 minutes a day, that do something once a week that lifts you, and then do one day or once a week and once a month. Those things were, when they scans of people, the athletes that they changed to that program, like compulsory, they have to report back that they've done that 5 minutes and what they did that day. So it's part of their reporting as being an Australian supported Olympic athlete. The scans went right back to normal, like to blue in the brain as opposed to red, which is, obviously we can say it's an emergency by that point of their brain function. And it literally crashes. And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, they did blood work as well, showing stress factors. So, and it's factual, it's scientifically based, and it gives it a lot of credence and credibility to just make those steps to, like, I have a fast brain too. My brain's always going, and meditation is I've always judged myself. And he said something, because I last about 2.5 seconds and then I'm thinking about something. And so one of the things I've adapted to is sitting outside. Luckily I live in bush, and just listening to the birds. And when I'm not listening to the birds, then I redirect to listening to the birds. And that I find easier than trying to meditate. And that's what he said, find your way where you're disconnected from the everyday, from, the to-do list and the fast moving, thinking brain. So, and I'll just one more thing I'll add about that. I've subsequently been thinking about it, and I've tried to find it online, and I was unsuccessful, but I might write, because it'd be such a good thing. I'm watching my teens and their school stress with assessment weeks coming up and all that kind of stuff. And I can see my eldest, I think, is cracking a little bit in his ability to cope. And, I've been talking to him about that, but I know he'd appreciate Adam telling him more than me, because I'm not getting a lot of credit from the teens these days. So I wish there was a little mini, I'm probably going to call them and say, can you do like a 15-minute teen focus on that? Because it would save so much distress for teens if they start to understand this, and that it's, my son, I know, would appreciate proof and science as opposed to their mom telling them this exciting guy spoke at her conference. So that's me. So we'll just go around again, and everybody say something that you want to add about somebody else's thoughts and experience, and anything you want to say in completion.
Oh, I go again?
Sure.
Well, Poppy mentioned about gems, so I'll just share, there was lots of them, but I'll just share a couple that stood out to me. And they had a, which was also really beneficial, a presidential panel. I think it was Naomi, James, Mark Silvers,
And Judy.
Judy. Thank you, Judy. Bless you, Judy. I see you on there. It's wonderful to connect with you in person too. And somebody asked about a leadership question, and James said, leadership is never given, it is taken. And what he meant by that, we need to step into the responsibility of leadership. That really rang true for me, that, where can I step up further and just own myself as a leader and give from that place further. And the other thing he said, because we've all heard James speak over the years, was don't build a business for someone because there's no strive in that for them. And he tied that back to something else that Adam Fraser talked about, which was, you know, we set a goal, we reach a goal, but it's in that phase of striving that we have to pull on our courage, and we have what he called, you know, an evolution or an evolutionary process. And he said that we crave courage and evolution as much as we crave love and connection. And so, yeah, James tied that back in. If we build a business for someone, you know, say you're going to put a bunch of people under them without them having to put in an effort, then there's no strive for them. And he had discovered over time that that didn't work in his previous formula. So he went on to share his current formula, which is, I'll share the script. We're launching in Australia again. We're looking for a few key people to work with. If you get started now and work with me, I haven't decided yet who will be at the top yet, but whoever does the most work will be. Are you ready to get started? So it's a different posture. May not be my exact words, but along those lines. And then the other gem, and Oscar alluded to Naomi's presentation on creating a magnetic personal brand, and Naomi focused on the value and the power of telling your story, and, you know, to be authentic and create an emotional connection with people that they can relate to. But the words that particularly stood out to me was that we need to walk inside our story and fully own it. And so I've thought about, and will be continuing to think about, how to tell more powerful story within my Manitech business, within my life in general. And then, of course, we had the personal photos. Some of us found that confronting, but I'm looking
Oh my God.
looking forward to seeing. I mean, it was a real bonus. So we haven't seen it yet, but I think everyone's going to be thrilled and feel the bonus of that when they become available to us for using. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, because not everyone in the conference was there, but at the end we did a leadership meeting. I think it was Gold. Was it Gold Director and above? I'm not sure what thanks. And it's called a SWOT meeting, where we break into groups and we assess strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. And it was opportunity. Manitech have always been what I'd say have a consultative approach with the field. You know, they don't just make decisions without referencing what's important to the field. And it was opportunity for the field to get together, and we did butcher's paper or whiteboards, you know, all the what we perceive are the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats, and feedback and dialogue with corporate. And one of the key things that came out of that, which Sharon pointed out particularly, is that to improve the communication to all leaders, whether they be presidential leaders or, you know, whatever, you know, the key leaders are within a certain lines within Australia, so that the information comes down to everyone, and we've got that to work with on a day-to-day basis. So that's me.
Yeah, I found that really uncomfortable, that photo session, but I love Naomi's presentation. You know, it's everybody has their place, and everybody has their market and their position of influence, and it's really important. You shouldn't be anybody else, and to find what's uniquely you and your passion, I think, was just such excellent coaching for people. Yeah, I really loved what Naomi did. Who's next after D? Was it Patsy was next?
Yes.
Lost my alphabetical knowledge there.
Something I particularly liked when Poppy mentioned saving. We were on the verge of not going because we just had to spend $10,000 repairing our ceilings, and you know, and it came out of the blue. So we were really on the verge of saying, we'll miss this one. And I've heard some people say to me why they didn't go, because they couldn't afford it. And Folks, there is a book written by Napoleon Hill called 3 Feet from Gold. And the story goes, these guys had a mining site and they were digging, and they found nothing. So they sold it. And the new owner came in and dug and found masses of gold. Now, if we had given our chance not to go to this event, we would have lost millions. Because what we learned is priceless.
Yeah.
You can't get it anywhere. And the feelings you get with how, you know, the family, the feelings are wonderful. And it really does something for you personally. You feel wanted. You feel as if you belong. And then with all that amazing information coming out of the stage and from the presentations, where would you get that for the amount of money you spend? Priceless. So the interesting thing is when I got back and I kept on thinking about this 3 feet from gold, and you wouldn't believe it, just before my nose was sticking out of the shell.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I'm like, oh, but it was just amazing. And of course, we had fun, did we not? We had lots of fun. We got to meet lots of new people that we didn't know before. And Andrew threw a tantrum the first time ever. It was embarrassing. But he's okay now. He's okay. So, you know, there were many good and Andrew situations that weren't so comfortable, but it was the best ever. I would say to that conference is the turning point of my business. And folks, let's hold hands and move forward. You know, it's nice to go together as a team of successful people rather than moaners and groaners. Go for it.
Well said, Patsy.
Mm.
And Poppy.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, touch base on what everyone's basically covered it, but I'm blessed that I've got Naomi as my upline, so I get to hear from her regularly. And
Cheater.
and I'm a big cheater. We do a lot of branding stuff, but just to hear the simplicity of it again, I think it's very, very important how you present yourself on Facebook, on any social media platform or any platform in general. Like if you come across as a doom and gloom person, no one is going to want to partner with you. Here we are promoting a company that offers a wealth of financial ability that you get, you know, the finances is unlimited, the income, but the health side of things as well. So if we're always complaining, I'm sick, I don't feel well, or this or that, or just, you know, woe to me type of attitude, no one's going to want to partner with us. We want people are drawn to people that are positive and offer hope. And so that's what we do. We offer hope. And I think we need to project that. So I loved the way Naomi, you know, spoke again about stepping into your story and owning your story. And, you know, I've come like through struggles, and this week we've been hit. We've been knocked for a six big time. Like somebody, for example, in the tiny that owes us thousands upon thousands of dollars has just gone into receivership. And so we're about to lose a lot of money. But if I'm doing that, woe to me type of thing, no one's going to want to follow me. You know, there's hope there. And I'm thankful that the Manitech business is there in times like this where it can pull us out. So, and also, again, like saving and getting to conference, everyone has touched on the importance of that. And you know what, it's just starting from now, like $20 a week, putting $20 a week aside, you by the end of conference, by the time conference comes around, you've got $1,000 in your account just for conference. So I've already started doing that. I've actually upped it a bit so I can have some spending money, bit more spending money up there, and, you know, maybe book an extra room by myself. But it's doable. And if you make yourself a priority, we can't tell people, we can't tell our team, get to conference. Conference is important if we don't go. They look at us. Sorry, that chef going crazy. They look at us and they go, okay, you didn't go, so why should I go? Why should I invest in that and go? So conference is important. You learn so much, and you know, just connecting with everybody, rubbing shoulders with everybody, learning from everybody. The nuggets of gold that we get will catapult the business. So I think it's, you know, really important that we're all there, but it was an amazing, corporate did an amazing job. Seeing everybody was just so good. Can't speak highly enough of being there. There was just so much to learn, so much to see and just to take in. But yeah, 2023 year of growth. Let's turn this company around and make it the company that it is. Like what we have, no one else has. And being able to launch these new products with the skincare, guys, it's going to catapult the business if you do it, if you plug in and do it. So yep, loved it. Loved the conference.
Awesome. And Sue, final thoughts.
Yeah, I too loved it. Oh, I've already said that. I'd just like to pick up, I got a lot out of Naomi's talk too, and the importance of stories, but I think it was the way that Naomi showed us how to really tell a story. You know, it was standing on the edge of the cliff, shaking, and who was there with her? You know, did you all feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was so well done. And, you know, she gave the example if she just said, well, I was, you know, blah, blah. I mean, it was just so powerfully done. And, you know, yeah, it was like, for me, it was like watching a movie that you're like, ooh. So, yeah, I love that. Thank you, Naomi.
Thanks, Sue. Oscar?
You're
You're
muted.
muted, Oscar. No, you're still muted, darling.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that's going around in my mind and my heart and all that. But I think the major thing that really stands out is Adam had talked about burnout, and over the last 2 years and whatever was going on in our lives and the virus was going on, you know, we're doing everything we wanted to do, and we're almost paddling water and we're not moving forward. The burnout is really realistic today than ever before. And I in my mind, I was thinking, what is it that I had done before that kept me sane? And this phrase that comes into my mind, I used to use this. I say, it goes like this: when your mind is quiet and your body is still, deep healing follows. And I thought, we need to get some time out. We need to allocate some time where we need to go and sit under the trees and be quiet by yourself. And sometimes it's very, very hard, particularly when we're stressful and we're under the pump. And that we need to do practice and practice. And then finally, all of a sudden, you're sitting there and it is quiet, your body is still, and your mind is not having all the dialogues going on. You know, you sit down and think, oh no, I haven't phoned this person, or I haven't done it. Just shut it and just be quiet. And by doing that, then we will be able to cater for that, and we move forward out of this burnout effect. The other thing also is when I looked at what's going on in there, and I'm saying, what am I doing to help more children out there? And what am I talking with my team to be able to elevate this process up and know that if I use it for myself, your products for myself, then I'm now helping a child out there every month. How powerful is that? And if we all do that, we just elevate this up. It reminded me also that this company is a company of provision. It helps people. And today we got more malnutrition across the planet, even with the elderly, older people and so on, because we're not getting enough coming into our bodies. And we need to teach that. And I believe that we need to do a lot of education. I also want to believe that a belly to belly, face to face is so important, because Penny out there, it sets a pathway, but we need to get along with people, sit down with them, because the only way I believe we can do it is to really get to know what the background is, what are they really saying, not saying, which they are experiencing, and we need to get down behind that, and then we can then elevate everybody else that way. And so the power of this small group was amazing. And I'd like to think that as we see the years to come by, as we grow the group, that power should continue to remain and accelerate, be something that is just awesome. I also, I'm amazed at what Vincent and Bella have done and gone out of the rich to Indonesia, a country that is, you know, happy to be involved with things like this, but they know they still got their questioning. But they're doing it because they know their culture and they know how to bring the message across and how to tailor it so that people can, in that country, can understand what they're talking about. And then to say that there are people who are skeptical have come back and said, we want to know more. Good on you. Congratulations to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you. Then we'll go Vincent and then Rhonda.
Thanks, Oscar. That's really touched my heart. And yeah, I'm happy that someone, well, anyone there can hopefully learn something from our presentation. But the gems for this year's conference, I forgot to let you guys know, this is actually my second conference on face-to-face. So I can't, from first time in Gold Coast back in Marriott, and then 3 online, and then now it is. Believe me, you can tell the huge difference between online and face-to-face. So just want to put it out there again and making sure like next year it's an event that you should not miss. This year's, I guess, gems is, first one is like what everyone say, Naomi's presentation. I'm sure everyone hears fact tells, story sells, but the question is, how do you create the story? How do you build this story that's compelling, that's emotional, that can touch people, that authentic? And that's the important part. Like, you know, the authenticity is reason why people choose you. People don't go with facts, people go with people and the trust that's built, especially in our line of business. So that's 100% gem, and thanks for sharing the workbook as well in this call. So definitely we'll run into that. The second one is PD panel. Learning from successful leaders is always the way to go. Everyone offers, again, quite similar, different story, why they started with Manatech, completely different from between each other. But the one thing that we can see is, and the common thread between them is, one is action, and 2, they're nailing their leadership to a T. So they went out hard with their mission. They know what they're doing. And they're willing to share with everyone, and it's really rare to see in any line of business. Try it if you're in a sales conference, and I'm quite sure it's, Jenny or Chris said this, right? If you're in sales conference and you see all the sales leader top 5 and you ask them to share the secret to their success, no one's gonna share. We're in a business that we're so lucky that we can share anything, we can learn anything from everyone, and everyone is so open about it, and that's not something that you can get easily. The third one is, and final one, was actually Jenny's trip to South Africa and see M5M and how corporate build the playground for the kids there. That's a mission that's quite close to Bella's heart and to my heart as well. And I know the follow-up question from that was, from everyone to Jenny, is, when are we having it in Australia? And I'm quite sure corporate is working something out. But the reason why that's my highlight is, we always see, yes, M5M, it's helping kids, but we, other than few that actually went to the events that packs the food back then, or the phytonutrients back then, and actually plays with the kids. For me, we're quite new in the business, Bella and myself, and to the family at Manatech. So I can't really, we don't have pictures, we don't have videos to see it other than every conference that you know, corporate from America saw it. But seeing someone from Australasia, even though it's Jenny, we saw how important it is. We saw how impactful it is to the kids then. You know, the kids there and the children there is the next generation, and that they probably will be the one that change the world, and can help them and bring a smile to them is always so ever powerful. Yeah, so that's my 3 highlights of this conference. Just one last line again, do not miss next conference. It's priceless, like what Patsy
True,
said.
true.
Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, that's good, awesome advice. And congratulations on your engagement to Bella. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
So exciting. And Rhonda, I have one thing to say when you're done, and then we'll complete for today.
Okay. One of the things that came from the SWAT team is things that the associates want from the company. But remember, the company is resourced on sales. If we want more company, we have to do more. And I was surprised. I know I've been skating for the last few years, but I was surprised to see how many other people have been skating and have dropped levels and so forth. If we want more, we have to do more. We have to be more. And Jenny touched on it a couple of weeks ago on one of the Saturday morning calls that I thought she was just talking to me. You know, one of those people who the company's doing, the business is doing what you want for it. So it's just cruising along. But it's not just me. And as a team, we all have to just contribute. Just 1% increase in anything you do is a mammoth result. I've got my boarding pass. Everybody else got their boarding pass for the, you can't see it because of the background. Boarding pass for travel incentive. Here we go. That's the biggest commitment I've made for a long time. And I'm going to finish by telling you a story. Now that 5 minutes isn't 5 minutes once a day. That 5 minutes taking a rest is like 5 minutes many times through the day. And I'm going to just impress on that with a story. There were two woodsmen. One was young, one was older. He wasn't ancient, but he was a bit older and a bit more experienced, like we parents, grandparents. And the two of them started in the forest chopping their wood. And the older fellow kept stopping. And at the end of the day, they've both got their piles of wood, and the old fellow's got a huge pile of wood, and the young man's pile is only about half the size. And he said to the older man, I don't get this. You kept stopping. I worked all day. I did not take a break. I worked all day, and look at your pile of wood. And the older man said, every time I stopped, I sharpened my saw. That's what we do when we take a 5-minute break. We let this thinking part clear out. It will only hold 90 minutes worth of stuff. If you're trying to do a 10-hour day on this frontal lobe, you will burn out. You won't be productive. You'll end up talking like you got scrambled egg for brain, and you will be worn out and burn out. So that 5 minutes is not once a day. It's every hour. 5 minutes. That's all it is. Even if you only stop and breathe, which you should be doing all the time anyway, but most people don't. I think that's enough from me.
Oh, Rhonda, that analogy gave me goosebumps. Thank you. And I just want to finish on something about the SWOT. You know, obviously it's very courageous for anyone to have the courage to look at what's working and what's not working in your, and to take feedback from the people that you partner with. And it was really powerful. And I think that, you know, what we got to see is that, you know, all the amazing things. It's like having a reset, really. And I'd encourage everybody to look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in your own business and life, and just spend some time and maybe just an hour and jot it down and think. Because I think when you look at the truth of what, like, you know, stuff's happened for Manotick and we're a 25-year-old company. However long your business, there would have been ups and downs and hills and troughs and roadblocks, whatever it is. Examine it, get the truth of it, see what you can do and what you can't do about it, and then reset your goals and move forward. And I think that as a community, that's what we did in partnership with Manotick in this, as part of the SWOT analysis that completed the weekend. And it was really, really powerful. Yes, that all happened, acknowledge it, put it behind you, and then look at what you want in your partnership from Manotick. And all the tools are ready for us, and you know, go for growth in 2023. That's what corporate's supporting us. And it just takes your commitment in partnership with this community and your teams and the corporate office. So God bless you all. Hope you have a fantastic weekend, and next week we'll be here with Chris. I hope everybody will have dipped a toe into Penny. Penny's like having a genius as a personal assistant that's there, that doesn't need to sleep. You know, and I keep forgetting, oh, I should have followed that person up, all that kind of thing. Penny will just tell you. If you use her, she'll tell you. So get into Penny, tip your toe in, and there's training coming over the next week. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for participating, everyone. It makes it amazing. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.